gym or even privately. And if that's the sort of corporate payment that Get Set Up can get in their partners, then I can understand. Because to be honest, Phil, that hospital paid me 4 times what the going rate was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I love that contract. I hated it when COVID hit and that contract died.
But was it difficult, teaching those people? Yeah.
Not the type of yoga I teach, because I don't teach what most people do, which is called hatha. Well, I do teach hatha, but what I do is I teach another style of yoga called Kundalini. It's from a different school, and it's a therapeutic yoga. So it's actually designed to help people build their systems, which is exactly what people with Parkinson's need. So the type of yoga I taught fit right in with Parkinson's. It also works well with people with COPD. I worked with people with early dementia. Um, I was really getting into the working with underserved groups that needed special treatment, and the Kundalini chair yoga was perfect for them. I'm getting older; it's perfect for me. So we don't do a lot of the outrageous postures. Like in Kundalini yoga, it's forbidden to do anything where you put the weight on your head, like stand on your head. That's a forbidden pose because it's
Hmm.
dangerous. So Kundalini is a whole different type of animal. Oh, we got people joining us. I better turn to them.
Yeah. It it's still 2 minutes early though.
Yeah, somebody got in early. Hi, iPad. How'd you come in early? We're glad to see you. Well, however
Right.
you managed to get in, we're glad you're here.
Right. But yeah, I like her dog though.
Oh, did he sneak in behind me? I didn't
Yeah.
even know he came in the room.
And he looked at the camera, or it looked at the camera, and it was like, hey, what are you doing?
Well, he can see my reflection off the monitor, so and that's right next to the camera. So he may have been looking up, going, "Why is my boss up there when I can see him down here in the chair?"
Right,
May
right.
have been doing that. He's a pretty cool dog. That's Coda. He's one of my two dogs. This is the one that's permitted in the classroom because he will be quiet and lay still.
I actually love dogs. I have a dog, but a very small one, a Shih Tzu, a breed of dog. The dogs are really nice. I
Oh,
love dogs more than cats.
I've had dogs most of my life. I grew up with dogs and cats in the house on a small farm, but now I have this guy who's a brown chocolate lab, and then I have a little girl that's a Visla, and she's the wild one. She's asleep on the sofa right now. Looks like people ought to be popping in quickly now. Here
All
they
right, see,
come.
people are coming in, so I'll just be in the background. Just call my attention
Okay,
if you need anything, okay?
did you switch me back to co-host or something?
Oh yeah, well, 1 second. And please make me the co-host again. Okay.
You bet.
Thank
As
you.
soon as I
Hi
get to that,
everyone.
as soon as I can get to that screen, there we are. Okay, I'm the host. I'll make. Uh, Oops, something slipped. Phil, I can't even. There you are. You weren't in the top of the list. Okay, Phil, you should now be co-host. For those of you who are popping in, my name's Ty. I was chatting with Phil. Phil's our TA today, our technical assistant. So if you have any questions during the class that are more of a technical nature than Tai Chi nature, feel free to put them in the chat window, and Phil will do what he can to support you and help you with any issues or questions or concerns. And let's see, do we have a quorum yet? Let's see, we got Jackie and Sue. Ah, I can see iPad now. Jean, hi Jean, Deborah, Verna, Teresa, Rosemary, Linda, Karen, Francis, and Jean Ann. Is it Jean Ann? Yes. Hi, Jean. Hi, I got a wave there. Cool.
Hi, Ty. It is
Hi.
Jean Ann.
It
Happy
is
Mother's Day
Jean.
to everybody.
It is Mother's Day, isn't it? Cool. I assume I have a lot of mothers in the audience. Hi, Judy. Judy's waving. Sue's waving. Hi. Well, welcome everybody. Hi, Chris. Chris just jumped in. Let me share my screen with you. Let's get moving on that. We're going to talk a little bit, as we always do at the first of class. And welcome to Tai Chi for the beginners. I have kind of modified the presentation at the first because we're starting to grow, and so far all the classes for beginners have been what I will call part 1. There are part 2 and part 3 to learn in the sequence, and I think it's about time we start talking about them and very soon moving into them instead of just doing part 1. Each class will focus on one part though because of the time constraints. My name is Ty. I'm your guide for this. I live in the center part of Florida near Orlando. I have an education in biology, psychology, and computer science. Oddly as that sounds, they really are all three very related. I had a career in various capacities, but my last phase of my career was at a consultant for medical centers where I was an IT consultant, and I came in and helped them use their computer system more fully, get as much out of their data as they can, understand their data more. Because surprisingly, it's so complex, not everybody at the medical center who used it understood their data. Now, I'm trained in several practices. Kundalini Yoga. Most of you have probably never heard of that, but it's a therapeutic style of yoga. Hatha Yoga, which is what in this country we call yoga. It's actually Hatha Yoga. I'm also trained in Tai Chi, several different styles, and I'm trained in therapeutic Qigong. I practice all of these. Heavily Kundalini Yoga and Tai Chi are my heavy practices. And I'm here today to guide you through Sung style. That's a school of Tai Chi. So Sung style Tai Chi forms and help you learn a practice. And over time, I hope that maybe you expand from the mechanics that I teach you in class to a deeper, meditative, more thorough understanding of the practice. We come together today by Get Set Up, who helps us all learn from each other. We all have so many things that we can teach the others, and Get Set Up gives us that platform. Now, I can learn best from you if your camera is on, because as I'm leading the class, it helps me to know how it's going, how you're doing, how you're reacting. So if you're comfortable at all, please leave your camera on. If you're not, I understand, and maybe someday you'll be more comfortable to turn it on. But if you need it turned off, leave it off. Now, every class I will guide you through some information, maybe teach you something new. Between classes, I propose that you practice. If you want, you can order a recording of this class just by emailing help@getsetup.io, and they will set you up with a copy of today's class, and that can help you till I see you again. If you didn't make it into class, because I think the registrations did fill up, and you're here through live stream, thank you for joining us. Congratulations on making it in through live stream. Hopefully in the future you'll find time to get in there early and get a registration and actually come into the class itself. Now, be aware that Get Set Up is not paid to promote. We don't promote any specific products. I might tell you about a product that I use, but it's not a promotion coming from Get Set Up. Now, here's the big words. Mind your doctor. Make sure you check with your doctor before any movement practice, whether it be walking or whatever. Make sure your doctor says it's okay. Make sure your doctor tells you if there's any limits that you need to honor, especially if you have any health condition or you're taking any medications. We want you to grow with these practices. We don't want you to be injured by any of them. So obey your doctor's advice, number 1. This is Tai Chi. In Tai Chi, we work to develop a better integration of our mind and body. That seems like such a minor thing. We take it for granted, but in reality, our body and mind get out of sync. It's just natural. It's the way we live our lives. Anybody lives their life. And you need to slow down and think to bring the body and mind back into sync. We use breath with movement to help do that. We have an objective to improve the balance. Postural alignment, how you hold your body. Being aware of the body. All of this comes together and helps prevent falls. I have balance issues. It's one of the things that brought me to Tai Chi. And I will tell you, if I do my Tai Chi regularly, then my balance is much better off because I'm aware of where my body is in case I should start to fall. There's more likely a chance I'm going to stop it or catch myself. Now, we all have stress. That is a fact of life. It never goes away, but we all can learn how to deal with it better because that's all there is with stress is how do you deal with it? Well, Tai Chi helps you bring a calmness of mind. Tai Chi teaches you how to initiate the relaxation response. The relaxation response is what counteracts the stress response in our body. Tai Chi will initiate that relaxation response and give us relief from stress. One objective is to slow down, not only in the practice, but slowing down in the practice transfers into life, and we start to experience and enjoy our life in the moment more fully instead of letting it pass us by. Overall, we want to be healthier. We want to help the body to work more efficiently using gentle movement. You don't have to run a marathon to get exercise. Gentle movement makes the body work better. Okay. Today we're still working with part 1. If you've been with me before, you've seen this screen. These are the forms for part 1, and we've been so far working totally on the right, where we move to the right. One day we will do a class and start moving to the left, but I'm not ready to present that yet. We're still working on part 1 to the right. Now, part 2, this is the series of forms that we're going to study in part 2. Part 1 is commonly called single whip forms. Part 2 is typically called brush the knee forms, or sequence. So I think we're going to be ready for part 2 in the next week or so. I'm documenting it now, getting it ready for the notes. So once we start part 2, I'll probably do it for a week or so wholly, and then start switching back and forth, certain days for part 1 and certain days for part 2. Down the road, when a bunch of us are good with this, then I'll bring in part 3. Part 3 I typically call Repulse the Monkey. All of this links together so that you can develop your own sequence for practice. But you can start anywhere. You don't have to start in part 1. You can jump in part 3. It would be a little more challenging than if you were able to start with part 1 or part 2, but it's possible. So we'll see how the classes go, and maybe we'll structure them with some different names as we grow. But right now, today we're dealing with part 1 to the right. We're going to be talking about single whip to the right, as several of you have practiced with me already. Now, guidelines across the board. Every Tai Chi class, whether it's mine or somebody else's, whether it's Sung style or one of the other schools, we practice mindfulness. We practice slow movement. We slow down. We might be learning the mechanics quickly, but when we practice, we slow that down. We talk about and practice postural alignment, keeping the head aligned with the torso. When you turn, the head and torso turn together. We deal with weight separation, left and right weight, forward and back weight to keep you in balance. We become more and more conscious of that balance as we do our Tai Chi. We never take a step when we're off balance. All steps are done in balance. Breath awareness. The easiest thing about breath awareness is to just follow the rule, always breathe. Don't hold your breath. Don't worry about where you breathe. Just breathe while you move, and don't hold your breath. I will be sharing with you where I breathe. That's not a rule that you have to breathe with me. It's just along the way as I've done my practice, this is where my breath has fallen, and it seems to me to be very natural, so I want to share it with you. Integrated movement. Your mind, your body, your breath all work together in the movement. Active relaxation. I love this term because it's such an oxymoron. We're active, we're moving, but we relax into the movement. Our body is soft. Our shoulders relax. Our legs relax. Our arms. We don't tense up. We don't stretch. We move with an active relaxation. All of this comes together in what we call mind-body principles. Now, let me bring up one specific guideline for today. Let's talk about breath awareness a little bit more. We breathe into our belly. If you've ever studied yoga, then you've studied diaphragmatic breathing. It's the same thing in Tai Chi. You inhale into the belly and you let the belly button come out. You exhale as the belly button floats back in. We typically breathe into our chest. It's something we've learned as we've grown up. If you look at toddlers and babies, they breathe into their belly. It's more natural. You take in more breath, therefore getting more oxygen. So in Tai Chi, we want to maintain a natural breath pattern of slightly breathing into your belly. Doesn't have to be deep breath, though every once in a while I might ask you to take a deep breath with me. But overall in the practice, just breathe naturally. Over time, you will find that your breath starts slowing down and becoming longer. It's just natural for that to happen. Bottom line, don't hold your breath. Many people hold their breath while concentrating. Try not to do that in your practice. If you catch yourself holding your breath, just note it and go, I held my breath. Let me start breathing again. That's all. Just note it and continue. No big deal. No judgment. Tai Chi will train us in our breath awareness with the movement. Now, let's do some practice. Now, you can practice standing, which you're going to see me standing, but you can practice seated. Everything we do can be done seated. What I recommend is be in your chair with your tush a little forward on the chair, but not so far that you might, walk your way off. Feet flat on the floor, and then follow the upper body support that I talk us through. And sometimes you may find you can move the feet with us too if you should so choose. But don't worry about it. You can do all upper body. Some people like to have a chair, do it standing, but have a chair nearby. I often do that, especially if I'm learning something new with a difficult step. I have that chair nearby in case I need to touch it because of my balance issues. Wear comfortable clothes. Something loose fitting really helps. Wear indoor shoes. Maybe you can pick up a pair of inexpensive Tai Chi shoes. They're available online. I know they're available on Amazon. I'm sure they're available everywhere else. I paid $12 for mine 8 years ago, and they're still working beautifully. And you might want to have water accessible. It's nice to stay hydrated, so keep water available in case you want it. And now we're ready to do some movement. So let me make some transitions. And we're going to get some music going. Can you hear me clearly over the music? Good. We're going to do our greeting. Bring your left hand up, the fingers together. Stands for friendship. Tuck your thumb in. That's humility. Make a fist out of the right hand for aggression and power and strength. But you know what? Cover that fist with friendship and humility and a slight bow for respect. That's just our greeting. Let me turn the music down just a little bit. I feel like I'm shouting. I think I can deal with that. Okay. Stand tall or sit tall if you're in a chair. We're going to continue with the forms that we've been studying the last couple of weeks. Single whip to the right, and that starts with Wuji. Every class, no matter what we're studying, always starts with Wuji because that's our standing posture. So your feet should be flat on the floor, either toes pointing straight forward, or if you need to adjust them because if you have different type of hips like I do, mine have to point out a little bit, do so. Whatever works for you. But I want you just to stand on those feet for a minute and sort of lean over to the left, then lean to the right. And as you lean, I want you to feel your feet against the floor. It's not just your weight shifting left and right. I want you to feel 4 corners of each foot. Matter of fact, kind of lean left and forward a little bit and then back. Notice how the weight goes to the front of the foot and then the back of the foot. And then you go over to the front of the other foot and the back of the foot and then back and forth. Feel all 4 corners of the feet. That's a firm footing. That's a good footing in contact with the earth. You feel stable, you feel centered and grounded when you can have all 4 points touching the floor firmly. Now come back to the center. We imagine there's a straight line going down through the body, which is our center of gravity, and it shifts to the left foot when we bring the weight to the left foot. And if you bring the weight to the right foot, that center of gravity moves to the right. A very important concept and sensation to always be in balance. You always want to know where that little invisible line is. Even if you lean forward or lean back, notice how that invisible line shifts forward and back. That's your center of gravity, and that tells you whether you're in balance or not. If it's outside your body, you're probably off balance. Now, back to Wuji. So, stand tall and feel grounded. Hips right over ankles unless you need a little more space for stability, and then put your feet wider than your hips if you need that. Safety first. So hips basically over ankles, shoulders over hips. Soft knees, just bend the knees a little bit, not excessively, I do mean just spongy knees. Tuck your chin about 1/4 inch to straighten your neck. Take your tailbone, and as though a weight is attached to your tailbone pulling it down, tuck it about 1/2 inch, which is going to rotate your hips and straighten your lumbar spine a little. Now allow your arms just to drape down. Your hands can just be touching your thighs. Soft shoulders. And breathe into your belly. This is universal posture, or Wuji as I like to call it. So when I tell you find your Wuji, this is where it is. All that list of concepts in your Wuji will come to you. Don't worry about it. I'm going to repeat it every class. The main thing is find your grounding, find your balance, find your breath, soften the body. The most important form that we will ever do is Wuji. You can meditate in Wuji. Matter of fact, today in my other class, Shibashi, we did a meditation in Wuji. So, the next form is going to be commencement form. So I'm going to turn sideways. Rotate the shoulders and bring the hands up. Soft elbows. Drop them down and bring the hands toward your belly button. Bring the hands right up the chest. Nice. Let's do that again. Drop the hands. So you're going to bring up the hands about 80% out to your reach. Not all the way to your reach. And then you just draw a U. The hand comes down, comes toward the belly button, and floats up the chest. You've drawn the letter U. Beautiful. Now, the commencement form also includes moving your feet. And I mentioned earlier during the slides that you never take a step unless you're in balance. Well, when we're standing in Wuji, our balance is in the middle. Either foot, in order to raise and take a step now, you would have to go off balance. There's just no other way. So, to stay in balance and take a step, bring your weight to your right foot. Just lean a little bit to the right and bring your weight so that you're firmly on that right foot. Now that left foot frees up and can be safely lifted and step out. Put the heel down, bring the toe down, and bring some weight to that left knee as you lean into it a little bit. Your center of gravity as you do this first starts on the right foot, and then as you step out, it starts going toward the left foot as you lean into it. Once you've really got a lot of that weight on the left foot, you can free up that right foot to come join the left foot. So you took a step. You took a safe step. Weight to the right foot, lift the left, step down, bring the right foot to join. Just a forward step, safe step in Tai Chi. That's how we take steps in Tai Chi. So let's come back to our Wuji. Here's where I'm going to tell you to take that deep breath with me. Just one big inhale. Inhale and exhale. Big inhale and exhale just to feel good. And then we're going to commence. Rotate at the shoulders. Draw the U. Bring your weight to the right foot. Step out with the left and reach forward. Bring the right foot to join the left. Now bring your elbows down. As your elbows bend and you bring the hands back into the chest. And that's commencement form. It's not really that hard once you get used to it. So let's go through that one more time before we move into the next form. So find your Wuji. Commence. Inhale and raise the arms. Soft arms as though you're pushing through a heavy fog. Hands come down and draw that U. Your weight goes to the right foot. You step out with the left and reach forward. Bring the right foot to join. Elbows down. Nice. Now the next form is open and close. Open and close is pretty easy. You just take the hand, I'm trying to get where the glare is. That's a little better. It is not. Open and close, you just separate the hands a little bit and then bring them back. Just open and close. We call that pulsing. Now, it seems like a simple movement, but you also want to pretend. Either you feel the energy or you pretend you feel the energy rotating around in between the hands. And as you separate the hands, the energy is tugging like taffy. And as you exhale and bring it back, the taffy wins. You bring the hands closer together. So there's a lot going on in this little open and close. It's open. I like to inhale as open and exhale close. You breathe with which works for you. The open and close we will use a lot during these sequences as separators. So, find your Wuji. Settle into your Wuji. Find that grounding of the four corners of the feet that I mentioned. Sink a little bit in your knees and feel solid on those feet. That connection with Mother Earth. Stand tall in your Wuji. Very good postural alignment. Shoulders over hips. Commencement form, rotate the shoulders. And bring down the hands, drawing that U toward your belly or your dantian. The hands come up the chest. You step out on the left foot. Get your support there and reach forward. Bring the right foot to join. Elbows down, the hands back to heart center, and you open and you close. Oh, nice. Now we're going to do single whip to the right. In the open and close being a separator, we're going to start at the separator. So we'll start with the hands open, close. Single whip, we turn, we bring our weight to the left foot. We turn 45 degrees toward the right, and we step out with the right foot, heel, toe. Find your footing there. Turn the hands away. The palms are faced away from you, and you push up to about 70-80% of your reach. That's single whip. Let's do that with the open and close. So come back to the open and close. Open and close. Bring your weight to the left foot. Turn to the right 45 degrees and step out with the right foot. Heel first, then the toe. Find a nice firm footing and push the curtain. Beautiful. And everybody's got such great posture. I was about to remind everybody not to lean into it, but nobody I see is leaning into it. Wonderful. Come back to the open and close. Open and close. Single whip to the right. Weight to the left foot. Turn to the right 45 degrees and step out. Find your footing on that right foot and push your energy curtain. Now the step we just took is a very small step. We don't take any big steps in this style of Tai Chi. So it's a very small step. And if you take big steps, it'll catch you in some of the later movements. Now, at this point, as we finish our single whip, we're ready to open the curtain. Your weight is on your right foot. That's why you can reach out like this safely, is because your weight's here. You're going to separate the hands. And as you separate the hands, the right hand stays exactly where it is. You're looking at the back of both hands. Separate them, rotating the left hand around your torso, and watch the left hand. Just watch the back of your hand as you open the curtain. Just a simple open the curtain movement. And you find yourself with your arms separated and you staring at the back of your left hand, and your weight has now shifted to your left foot. Kind of nice how that works. Let's go back to the energy ball. The open and close. Open, inhale, rise up on your knees. Exhale, close and sink in the knees. I'm going to teach you a trick. It could be doesn't affect you, but if it does, this is a neat trick to know. My hips grind if I'm at bad angles. So before I do single whip, I take my left foot and I rise just a little bit on the toe and shift my ankle out a bit. So my foot's like this, but I shift it like that. I don't know if you can see that, but like my foot's like this, and I lift the heel and turn it out a little bit. So it's hard to see in this picture, but I'm rising on my left toe and I'm turning my heel out and setting it down. This way, when I turn 45 degrees, I'm not grinding my hips and I can step out comfortably. That's just a modification that I applied because I have tight hips when it comes to where the bones grind at certain angles. I tell you this because I want you to understand how you might need to apply modifications for your skeletal structure. We're not all built the same. So if you need to do slight modifications, do it, because you want to be relaxed in the pose. So let's come back to Wuji. Come back to the the open and close. Open, stand tall on your knees. Close, sink in the knees. Single whip to the right, bring your weight to the left foot. Turn 45 degrees to the right and step out. Hands facing away, the palms are facing away, and you push. Open the curtain. Watching the back of the left hand, your weight's now starting to shift from your right foot to your left. Now the weight is on the left foot, so your right foot is safe to lift. So you can lift that right foot and bring it back to join the left. They're back near each other again, probably facing forward. Bring the right hand and let it drop and just swoosh down. Rotates at the elbow. Your hand's way up here from being in the single whip. Just swoosh down to where it's somewhere near your left elbow. This is my right hand. It's swooshing down to my left elbow. If you're doing it in reverse, that's fine. So I'm staring at the back of my left hand. My right hand is near my left elbow. My torso is twisted just slightly to the left so I can see that hand. Now, the next movement is waving hands in the clouds. Bring the right hand up and replace it where the left hand is, and bring the left hand down and point it to the right elbow. You may have twisted a little bit more to the left. That's fine. So we open the curtain, push the hand down, right hand comes up to replace the left hand comes down. Step out to the right. Your weight's on the left foot, so raise the right foot and step out to the right. And as you bring the weight on the right foot, rotate the right hand around. Head and back are in one synchronous movement. When you've rotated to the right and your weight now is on the right foot, bring the left foot in to join it. Bring the left hand up to where the right hand is and take the right hand down and rotate back. When the hand gets back to the left and your weight's on the left foot, bring the right hand up to replace it, take the left hand down, step out to the right, and rotate to the right. Bring in the left foot, raise the left hand, lower the right hand, and rotate back. That's 2 of those. Step out to the right, switch the hands, right goes high, left goes low, and rotate. Bring in the left foot, left goes high, right goes low, and you rotate back. Now this time we just finished 3 of those, so the right hand rises a little higher than the left. And then it comes back. You're turning the torso back forward as the hands come to meet each other at heart center for an open and a close. Wonderful. Now that is part 1, right sequence. Part 1 sequence, right. So I really do think we're ready for part 2. And then we'll come back and do part 1 left at a future date. So let's start at the very beginning. That's a wonderful place to start. Find your Wuji. I'm going to separate my feet a little bit. Remember, safely, I bring my weight to 1 foot, lift a foot, and put it down. That's how I safely step it aside and separate my feet a little wider to give me a little more balance. I feel grounded with my feet firmly on the ground, feeling the 4 corners. My hips are basically over my ankles, my shoulders over my hips, my chin tucked, my tailbone tucked, my knees soft, even bouncy, my shoulders soft, and my arms just basically hanging like I'm a rag doll. And I'm breathing into my belly. I can feel my belly button floating with my breath. Enjoying the cool air as I'm breathing it in. Allowing every exhale to remind me to just relax and release a little. Take a nice big inhale with me. Fill up the tummy and then continue to fill up the chest. And then exhale from the chest, and then from the tummy, letting go of everything you don't need. Commencement form, rotate at the shoulders, soft arms. The hands actually kind of dangle below the wrist, and when you get up even with the shoulders, the hands kind of continue on. A little flare, and then they come down. Just a little flare in the movement. The hands are coming up my chest as my weight goes to my right foot. I'm stepping out with the left foot, small step, heel, toe, and reaching forward. With the little flare in the hands as they dangle a bit. Bring the right hand to join, the right foot to join the left, and then bend your elbows down for an open. Stand tall, settle in the knees. I'm going to turn my back to you so you'll see me doing it like this, in case that relates. Single whip to the right, you bring your weight to the left foot. Turn to the right, 45 degrees, step out, turn the palms away and push the invisible curtain. Nice structure in your posture, no leaning forward. Open the curtain, separating the left hand from the right as the eyes follow the left hand. Your weight's on the left foot. Push the right hand down. Bring the right foot in. Bring the right hand up and the left hand down and step out to the right. And rotate, waving hands in the clouds. Bring the left foot in. You're going to switch hands now. The left goes up, the right hand goes down, and you rotate back. Weight has shifted to my left foot. Step out to the right, switch hands, right up, left down, and rotate. Left foot in, switch hands, and rotate back to the left. I lost count, but I think we have one more to do. Step out to the right, switch hands, and rotate. Bring in the left foot, switch hands, and rotate back to the left. We finished 3. So now the right hand rises up toward the left, but it keeps going a little higher. You bring the torso back to forward. The hands come settling near the heart center, and they open and they close. And when you're at the end of the sequence for the day, you just bring the arms forward, palms down, and do a formal closing. You can use that at any time. Wonderful. Well, I actually feel very relaxed at this point. Cool. That's what you're supposed to feel. Normally I stay a little tight because I'm talking the whole time, but that time it really relaxed me. Let's come back to the beginning. Find your Wuji. Settle into your Wuji. Feel free anytime you start your practice to spend a minute or two in Wuji. It is very good investment of time. Find your grounding. Find your balance, your weight separation. Pay attention to your posture. Breath awareness. Be aware of the breath flowing, gathering in the tummy, expanding it and contracting and flowing back out. Be aware of the sensations in your hands. Notice how soft your shoulders are, how soft the knees are. I actually go into Wuji at the grocery store line. That's one of my favorite places to practice various things, is at the grocery store line when you're just wasting time, you're getting frustrated because somebody's doing something foolish ahead of you, and I ignore it. I go into one of my practices, and one of them is I go into my Wuji, and I just find my balance. I find my breath, and I invest that time wisely into my own mindful movement. Even though the movement is stationary, it's still mindful movement in my breath. All of a sudden, the people in the line doesn't bother me nearly as much. It seems a lot smaller, less meaningful, and I feel like I've invested the time wisely. So now, commencement, rotate the shoulders. Remember that little panache with the hands? They kind of dangle a little bit. And as they come up, they kind of keep going when the arms stop, and then they drop and guide your arms down to your belly button. As they come up the chest, your weight's coming to the right foot, and you step out with the left. The right foot comes to join it. The elbows come down. And you do an open and close. For single whip to the right, weight goes to the left foot. Step out with the right 45 degrees. Get your balance. You want that weight firmly on that right foot. Palms facing away. Open the curtain. Moving the weight to the left foot as you rotate your view, following that left hand. Once the hands are wide, two things happen simultaneously, but you can do one at a time. The right foot comes in and the swoosh comes down. Eventually you'll do them at the same time, but you don't have to today. So like this, they're going to come in together and the right hand just keeps going up to replace the left. So let me do that again. The right hand swishes, the right foot comes in, and the hand just keeps flowing right up to do that hand replacement. Open the curtain, swoosh, and the hand goes up, and the left comes down. It's all one movement when you get through you got to do the mechanics first. Don't sweat it. To make sure you're in good balance, maybe you want to bring that foot in, bring that right hand down to your elbow, and then think about bringing it up to the left hand. I'm gonna need more AC in here. It's getting warm. So arms apart. Bring the right foot in to join the left. Swoosh the right hand down. It comes up to replace the left, and the left comes down. Step out to the right and rotate. Waving hands in the clouds. Bring the left foot in, switch your hands. The left goes up and the right goes down, and you switch back. The whole time watching the back of your left hand. It's as though you're suspicious that left hand's going to get away from you. Switch hands, step out to the right. Relax your arms while you're in here. Don't be stiff. Switch the hands, bring in the left foot, and rotate back. It's so hard to it's so easy to fall into the practice of being stiff while you do this, but you want to remember, soften, replace the hands, or swap them, rotate to the right, and then bring in the left foot, switch hands so you can rotate back to the left. The right hand adds a little flourish as it goes up. You bring the torso back to forward for an open, and a close, and a formal closing. That formal closing feels very good to me. There's almost just a release or a relief in the arms as it comes down and tells me mentally that I just finished the practice. Let's go through. I think we've got time to go through it at least one more time. So let's do the whole sequence. This is great. This group has got the whole sequence now of part 1 to the right. So probably I'll have to look at the date. I may do one more of these classes, and then I'm going to switch to part 2, and we're going to start studying brush the knee. So I think a bunch of you are ready for it. If you're new to this, like this is your first class, don't sweat that. It just means you're going to learn more about brush the knee than single whip. But we're going to come back to single whip later. So it's like we're going to keep cycling through this until you've got all 3 parts. So don't panic if you're just starting and don't know some of what we're doing. It'll come to you with practice. Plus, you can always order the class on recording and play it at home and follow and pick these up. Maybe at some point I'll do another class 1 where we go very, very slowly. So, find your Wuji. When I say find your Wuji, to me it's almost like I'm saying find your meditative posture. Commence. Rotate the shoulders, soft arms, soft shoulders, soft knees. Little flourish in the hands. Bring those hands down to draw the U. As your hands come up the chest, your weight goes to your right foot and you step out with the left. Bring the right foot to join the left. Elbows down. Open and close. Single whip to the right. Bring your weight to your left foot. Rotate to the right and push. Open the curtains. Separate the hands following the left hand. Bringing your weight to the left foot. Swish the right hand down. Bring the right foot in. Right hand goes up, left hand goes down. Step out to the right with the right foot and rotate. Following that the back of the right hand. Bring in the left foot and switch those hands. Switch the hands, step out to the right. Switch hands, step in from the left and rotate. Small steps. Switch hands and rotate. Switch hands and rotate back. Right hand goes a little higher than the left, a little bit of flourish. The hands come forward to heart center and you open and you close. And a formal closing. Let me talk for just a minute about the when we are at the end of open the curtains and we're about to start waving hands in the clouds, so the right foot comes in and the right hand comes down. I'm already twisted a little bit. My torso, my head and torso is twisted a little bit to look at my left hand. When that right hand comes up, you're going to twist a little bit more into the left. And when that left hand comes down, you're going to twist a little bit more. So expect the fact that you're going to twist a little bit when those hands switch. It's just natural to do that, and it's going to happen on the other side too. So you'll always twist just a little bit more, but it's the whole torso, the head, the neck, and the whole torso. Just twist a little deeper into it before it rotates back. So that's just the nature of the movement. We want that twisting. It works to help give us more flexible hips. So it's not twisting in the knees. It's really twisting right here. Is there anything else I want to bring up? Let's come seated. Oh, wait a minute. Before we come seated, I'm going to close with a greeting too. Let's remember friendship. I'm getting better about this. Humility. That fist. That really is aggression and power, because Tai Chi has a lot of power to it. But thank goodness friendship and humility cover it, control it, and it brings respect. Thank you for sharing that with me today. I really appreciate it. Now we can come seated. If I can get around the dog. Let's see, I need to stop that one first. And well, I think I got it first try. That's cool. Okay. So remember, Tai Chi is meant to be slow. I actually consider the speed we go in class to be a little fast, but I need to get a lot included in each class because we have limited time. So when you practice at home, if you choose to, you don't have to, you can just come practice in class, but if you choose to practice at home, see if you can slow it down, especially once you start getting the mechanics more into a flow. And don't be surprised if first it's all mechanics, like, oh my goodness, do I step here? Do I wave my hand there? Do I turn my hand? You got to learn that. You got to get past that point. But eventually the mind and body becomes acting more like one, and that becomes more of a mindful movement flow, and then you can start slowing down. You can't go too slowly. The slower you go, the better. I would recommend 5 minutes a day of practice. You know, you don't need to do a lot of hours, but if you can spend 5 minutes a day doing one form, right now we're only talking about 6 forms. If you'll take one form, The hard one is waving arms in the clouds. The easy one is open and close. Choose one form and practice it each day or every day for till you see me again. It's better to practice one form and feel it, even if it's open and closed, than it is to memorize 108 forms. I bet every one of you is capable of sitting down and just memorizing 108 movements. But you know, all you'll get out of that is the ego of saying I memorized those 108 movements. But if you're next to someone who actually did one of them and felt it, that person's way ahead in the game. Put some music on with your practice. Any soft, gentle, slow, I like slow, listening music. I joke that some people might want something else. Maybe you like soft jazz. You know, put on what helps you relax. That's the trigger. Will it make you feel relaxed? I love soft classical music. I love nature sounds. I love doing this outside. Though sometimes outside the sounds are cars driving by. But that's just a fact of life. So you do it with life. As a metaphor for life, Tai Chi helps us embrace challenges, just like we want to do in real life. It helps us slow down. It gives us a reminder to slow down. It helps us focus. You cannot do this practice without being focused on what you're doing. Even when it becomes a mind-body link and you don't have to think about it, you're still focused. You're just focused on the deeper interpretation of the movement, because you never end studying these movements. They're there with you for life if you so choose, and every time you do them, you can try to go a little deeper into the movement, a little deeper into the body sensations. And of course, we want to learn to slow our breath and breathe a little deeper by breathing into the diaphragm, into the abdomen. It's been scientifically tested. The scientists will tell you that the breathing into your abdomen increases the capacity of air up to 26%. That means you're going to have more air, and therefore you're probably going to be able to take in more oxygen. So breathe into the belly. I know in our culture we want to keep those bellies tight, especially men. So we're taught push the chest out, bring the belly in. Well, in class, don't worry about that. In class, let that belly go. Thank you for coming today. I hope you enjoyed something in class today. If you did have an experience that you'd like to share, or maybe in another class, something on Get Set Up, please talk about it on social media. If you've got a story that you'd like to tell or an experience, and you don't want to go on social media, send it to Liz, Liz at getsetup.io. Liz is our social media guru, and she will put it in the blog and share it with people. You can do it anonymously if you want to. Just share the story. She'll follow your rules. Now, with that being said, there's other classes that you might want to consider. Slow flow yoga is a nice, gentle, slow yoga class you might want to consider. Morning Fitness with Stacy. She does a great class. I attend it sometimes. She does a great class. And of course, my class, Tai Chi Shibashi. Right now I'm teaching 3 classes. Tai Chi, Why It's Great for Seniors, which is basically an education of what the heck Tai Chi is and a little demo introduction to it. I teach it maybe once a week. And then Tai Chi for Beginners, which I'm teaching about 5 or 6 times a week right now. And I've just started Shibashi this week. I think I have 2 classes in the coming week. One was earlier today. I know some of you were there. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope you realize how different it is from this class, because they are 2 different concepts of Tai Chi. Tai Chi for Beginners is to teach us the mechanics of a flow. Shibashi is just come and share a movement with me. I don't even care if you never memorize it. Just come and follow me each time. It's 18 movements that are meant to be therapeutically beneficial to us. And we do some warm-ups. So it's easy to do. It's gentle to do. It's, in my opinion, it's fun to do. And it's even more interesting. It's even better when you share it. So bring your friends and share it with me. After class, I'm going to email you some notes. In the notes, I'm going to do a little summary of what I talked about in Tai Chi today, but I'm also going to send you the description of one of the forms. Each set of notes, I send out a description of a form. So after you've collected 5 or 6 sets of notes, you've got all the notes for a specific sequence. So I think I've already sent out at least once every one of these forms. So you end up collecting them to create your description of the whole sequence. It might help you if you're following the class again, or maybe you got a recording of today's class you're following. You can go to the notes to see additional comments about how you should be moving if you have a question, or you can bring the question to class next time. But the notes are useful. In the notes, you should get a list of 3 ideas of other classes that might interest you. They might be mine, they might not. But you can click on it and go check out that class. We want you to explore. And very important, there will be an orange button that says give feedback. Now, I've been hearing from a couple of people they're not getting that orange button. If you don't, please let help know. Help at getsetup.io. Email them. Send them a picture of what you got if you can, and let them know that you can get the button, because I don't know why that's happening, but maybe they are working on it, and you should let them know that you're being affected. But if you do have the orange button and you click it, you're going to get this little box. Now on your phone it might look a little differently, but it's going to have the same functionality. There's going to be ability to rate your session, that's the class. Rate your guide, that's me. You can give this session 1 to 5 stars. It's going to default to 4. So if you just say done, you're saying 4 stars for both. If you want to, feel free. Don't hesitate to up that to 5. I will never complain if you up it to 5. But be honest. You know, if you have an opinion, state it. If you do give a high or low score, please give a comment. It doesn't have to be a paragraph or a book, but give a comment so we know what led to that. You hated the music. Hopefully you didn't. But if you did, let me know. I'll try to get some better music. Anything you liked or disliked, feel free to give a high score, but add a comment, say, but I wish you would get, different music or something. Or go down to the bottom where it says, tell us how we could improve, and just tell us, in general, what could Get Set Up do to improve, to support you better. Maybe there's a class you want. Maybe you're somebody who wants to know how to do crocheting underwater. Recommend the class here, or email info@getsetup.io and recommend the class. They will go hunting for a teacher. That's how they found me, because somebody asked for Tai Chi. The Get Set Up community is growing. It's growing by leaps and bounds. And part of that is because people are spreading the word. So feel free to spread the word to your friends and neighbors. Maybe you'd like to host an interest group. Maybe you know how to do crocheting underwater. Well, contact info@getsetup.io and let them know that you want to lead an interest group. And all you have to do is open the group, say, hi, I love to crochet and I love to do it in the pool underwater. And here's how I do it. Would you like to do it, or how do you do it? And you share. They most of the time they talk more than you do. So you just end up starting and facilitating. But we need people to actually plan to be there and open the class if it's an interest that's something that pulls you in. And of course, as I said earlier, suggest a class that you'd like to see. If you want harder Tai Chi, you want something more physical, put in the request. We partner with all sorts of different companies and corporations: assisted care, senior living, government and community organizations. Currently, I know they have agreements with the state of Michigan and the state of New York. So if you are affiliated to a senior living facility, or maybe you have someone you love in assisted care, or maybe you're a member of a community, there's a big community organization in North Florida that has moved over to Get Set Up. So if you will tell us the name and contact information for a group you're associated to, we'll be glad to reach out to them and see if we can get affiliated. And of course, if you want to study between classes while I'm not around, request a copy of the recording. All you have to do is email help@getsetup.io. Tell them you want a copy of the class, and they'll set you up with a recording. Actually, if you look in the chat, you'll see Phil mentioned it. Phil at Get Set Up, he mentioned that he made the recording for us. Thank you, Phil. I couldn't do it without him. Let's see, somebody made a comment. Marlene, you're welcome, Marlene. Thank you for coming. She had to leave early. That's it for today. Oh boy, right on time. I don't really have
Uh,
time for a lot of questions, but if you do have a question, make it quick.
Hi,
Yes.
question, Joe. So I enjoyed the class. Uh, One comment, I have scoliosis. I have a
Yeah.
scoliosis. And while I was standing there, it was really bothering my right lower back here, which may be my hip as well. But
Yeah.
I wanted to say that trying to relax, the pain did persist. It didn't increase or make worse. Actually, what happened when we went to chair and I then stood up to correct the image on the iPad, the pain was much lessened. So
Interesting.
although with standing for the half hour in that position, I did have persistent pain, but sitting down for that moment broke the cycle of pain. And so when I did come back again, the pain is significantly lessened. I know I have a separate problem on that. One other suggestion, please. If you can go through the entire motion at the very beginning to show what it should look like, ideally, and then possibly then break it down on how we got there. That would be my only suggestion. But I enjoyed it thoroughly. It's my first class. Thank you.
Francis, I will be glad to start doing that. In my live classes, when I have more time to teach, I do that. I have to admit, I kind of cut corners to squeeze everything in, but
Correct.
after you saying that, I think that's very important that I demo at the first of class. So I will start doing that. Thanks for the suggestion. Your scoliosis. I can't advise you on that. I'm not a doctor, first of all. And second, I don't know exactly how it's affecting you, but I would take that description you gave me and talk to your doctor. He may have a suggestion of how to practice your Tai Chi and accommodate improving your situation. Like maybe you should sit down 5 minutes out of every 15 or I'm just throwing that out. He may
Oh,
have
that's
some
good.
suggestions. So
Okay.
take that description to him because you and I, Francis, you and I don't want to make it worse. You and I, and please share with me what he tells you. You can email it to help and tell him to get the information to me, or tell me in class because I want to know what he said because I'm sure I have other people in class who have scoliosis. Even though it affects people differently, I'd like to know information about it so I can offer suggestions. So thank you, Francis. Thank you for coming and trying it.
Great. Thank you.
Hope to see you again soon. Okay, everybody, it is now overtime. And I can't put in for overtime. Get set up won't let me do that. So I wish. Uh, there is no such thing as overtime. So I'm going to say goodbye. And hopefully I'll see you again in class this week. If you haven't made it to Shibashi, please come give it a try. It's a different animal, but it's still Tai Chi. So take care of yourself because you can't take care of your loved ones and your family. Maybe they're the same ones. And friends, unless you take care of yourself first. So be good. See you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Phil.